Hey, hey, hey. This is Dog Life Radio, and I am your host, Rossi Giugio. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you could join me this week. Got myself a little something different this week. We did another road show. Yeah. Got myself into the old truck, hot down the road a spell, and drove all the way over to the Body Fit Warehouse over in Southwick, Massachusetts. Really not that far from where I am, and it was a great trip, definitely worth it. Got the chance to meet up with some new friends, Anna and Steve over there at Body Fit Warehouse. And the reason, what drew me into this one here was I ran across Steve's Instagram page, and he was doing some pretty cool stuff. And what I could see at the gym there at the warehouse was that it was not your typical space. It was not your standard free weights, dumbbells, and barbells. It wasn't your machines and treadmills and ellipticals and pre-cores and all that other kind of stuff. Although they do have those things and offer it. They have more than that. They've got the CrossFit style equipment as well. But they were doing a lot more functional fitness. And we had a fantastic conversation. But before that, I had reached out to him through the miracle of social media. And I said, hey, Steve, I would love to come down and talk with you about this stuff you're doing and what you got going on over at Body Fit Warehouse. To which Steve replied back, hells yeah. And there it was. Found myself a kindred spirit. And two now, because Anna joined us as well. Both of the head trainers and owners of Body Fit Warehouse. I said kindred spirits because it seems as though we kind of approach things in a similar fashion. And the more people I speak with, I find that we are all on this similar journey, this similar path to try to learn as much as possible, regardless of where the information is coming from. We're really open to anything to continue to advance our own knowledge and maybe help somebody along the way. You never know where you're going to learn, and you never know when you're going to be able to learn from somebody or when you're going to be able to help them. So this was fantastic. Before we jump into that conversation, I do want to take a pause for the cause and pay a couple of bills. But right after that, we'll be back with the podcast that you should be listening to. I know it is a very cool one this week, so I will see you in just a moment. Hey gang, remember, life is too short for crappy coffee. Check out Death Wish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. They have got two signature blends. Their Odin Force blend, or Valhalla Java, is a smoother, more mild roast. And for those of you like myself who like a stronger, bolder flavored coffee, check out the flagship, Death Wish Coffee. Fantastic stuff. You're going to love it. It is the world's strongest coffee. If you care about your skin, you should be using Evans Country Clean products. This soap is going to heal, restore, and rehydrate your skin. It's made out of all natural ingredients. And it is hypoallergenic and great for people with sensitive skin. They've got a scent for everyone, including a whole line of products just for men. Listen up. Now, not only is this a top-notch product, but you can also get 15% off by using Dog Life 15. That is DOGLIFE 15 for 15% off when you go to evanscountryclean.com. Check it out.
Whoa, how did we get on this podcast?
I'm not sure, but I like it here.
It's pretty great, but we should probably tell everyone about our own podcast, Fueled by Deathcast.
Hell yeah. Comes out every Thursday from the Death Wish Coffee Company, the world's strongest coffee.
Every week you can hear me, the Incredible Jeff.
And me, the Amazing D-Man.
And we talk about new science discoveries, breaking news from Death Wish Coffee, and we welcome a special guest from rock stars to astronauts and ask them all the question, what fuels you?
The podcast is available right on deathwishcoffee.com and wherever podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, and more.
Plus, you can now watch it live on the Death Wish Coffee Company page on Facebook and watch all our videos over on YouTube.
All right. Now you know all about Fueled by Deathcast and how you can listen to it.
But first, let's finish this podcast.
Let's get back to the show.
All right. And now we're back. All right, the podcast that you should be listening to. This week, I am giving up props to the Wadcast podcast, episode 327, with, is it Lindsay Siddell, stretching, rehab, flexibility. Sorry if I mispronounced the name there, but a fantastic episode. The beginning of it is a bit deep into the wadcast or CrossFit type subculture. If you're not into all of the exercising, routines that all have a name, you can kind of skim a little bit past it, but it really gets into some fantastic stuff about stretching, which is applicable to all areas of fitness. Anybody who exercises, doesn't matter what kind of stuff, whether it's powerlifting, strongman, CrossFit, functional sports, whatever. It's a good listen. So give that one a listen to. It is the Wadcast Podcast, episode 327. And now, the moment you've been all waiting for, my conversation with the Body Fit Warehouse folks. Again, that's Body Fit Warehouse, College Highway in Southwick, Mass. You can check them out at thebodyfitwarehouse.com and have fun with this one. I know I did.
All right, we are rolling. This is Rossi Giugio, Dog Life Radio. I am on location at the Body Fit Warehouse. Steve, Anna, thank you so much for having me. I was looking forward to this conversation for a long time, so thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're stoked to be here, and we're excited to have a good conversation with you.
All right, well, let's roll. We are actually live in the warehouse, so you're going to hear people exercising, young gentlemen just leaving, so it's no problem. That's just the way it goes. I'm going to take a bunch of pictures, and we'll do some posting, some stuff, maybe even some videos for the YouTube channel.
Right on.
We'll go. But let's start off with, you gave me a little bit of a tour. Tell me a little bit about, maybe how did you find this particular spot? And, that decision point where you said, let's go for it.
So, we've been athletes our entire lives. Sport is just something that it's been wherever we go, it follows us. So, we fell in love with that a long time ago. But I've lived in Suffield for about 7 years before this, and we would drive by here all the time. And we would see people outside training and whatnot. And this was before we ended up buying it out, but we didn't know that it was a gym. We used to think it was just a warehouse for gym equipment or stuff like that. So one day, pretty much, I actually got fired from my job. And the next day, I came in here to check it out. I said, I got to see what's going on. So I dropped in, and they gave me a free month membership. And from there, it was a wrap, pretty much. Started talking to the manager, and then all of a sudden, I started training, personal training. Everything, the ball started rolling from there, and then, the excitement was uncontrollable. So, and then I met Anna.
We met a long time ago.
Fair enough, yeah.
Well, pretty much, like he said, he started becoming a trainer here and working out here, and then I was still living down in Farmington at the time.
Yep.
And working in New Britain. So eventually I quit my job and moved in with him, and then started coming up here, and that's how I got used to this place. But we used to eat at the Notch all the time, and we would always be like, oh, is that a gym over there? Yeah, so it's kind of funny how things happen.
So the place kind of had your eye, whether you knew it or not.
Yep.
And then so you got pulled in over here, you started training over here, or being a trainer.
Yep.
And so that got you down the path. When did you decide to say, hey, you know what, let's make a go of it and have our own place?
What was it? Maybe January of last year. I had been unemployed at the time, and I knew I didn't want to do anything else. I was getting job offers. I was applying to all kinds of jobs all across the board, but I was sick and tired of having a job. I was sick and tired of just going for a paycheck and, just set hours, 9 to 5, this and that, doing something I didn't want to do. So I told her, I said, within a year, we're going to own a gym. We have to own a gym. And it was a really ballsy statement to make, but I think I was just getting really annoyed one day, and I just said, you know what, in a year, we're going to have a gym. And I got my certification, and I came here, and I started personal training.
Yep.
And I trained for the first month. It was completely free. I just trained for free because I want to make sure I loved it before money got involved. You know how that can go.
Absolutely,
So,
it's a big decision.
And then maybe 2 months after I started personal training here, the manager here quit.
Yep.
And he left to go to another gym. And so I became head trainer and manager in the same day, which was like, okay, I see where this is going. And from there, it was on. Maybe 3-4 months later, she had quit her job and we moved in together. And from there, it was just game over. Now we just cornered. Now we had the male and the female side, and we love calisthenics, and that was our foundation right there. So we just started sharing our passion with everybody else here, and the current owners, a few months later down the road, they brought up, are you guys interested in buying the gym? Long story behind all that, but at the moment we jumped on it 200% on the spot. We want it. A few months later we finalized the deal, and at the beginning of this year we took over officially, and now this is what we do, and we absolutely love it. Now we're just looking to expand as much as possible and help as many people as we can.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. It
Yeah,
really
it
is. It's a nice gym. You know, you got all your bases covered, like we were talking about before. It's not one of these gigantic, massive, like warehouse gyms. Like we've all been at theirs. There's lots of benefit for the space, but there's also a huge price. I'm assuming, square footage and everything. So this one's, I have belonged to smaller gyms, like much smaller, and with the tiny ones it gets a little tough. But this is a good sized gym. A lot of space for everything here.
Yeah, this was my first time actually working out in a smaller gym like this, because I went to LA Fitness for forever, like for 6+ years. So I actually really liked the size when I started coming here, just working out when I started. It's nice, and then it's and you get on everything you need, as opposed to like at a big box gym. It's always usually crowded.
Yeah, so and the variety of things here. You've got enough of your cardio equipment. You've got you got your machines. You've got free weights for people who like to do a bit more of the heavier stuff, or even just want to lift free weights for that matter. Yeah. And you were saying you've got classes and stuff here too. What kinds of classes are you offering?
So we offer 3 days a week. We offer high intensity interval training classes in the evenings. A lot of people don't have time for working out throughout the day, and just it's a busy schedule these days. So we offer a fat furnace. You come in and actually stole that.
Did you say
name.
fat furnace?
Fat furnace. I actually stole that from Bedros Koulian.
Okay.
Guilty.
Okay, that's okay.
Out of Fit Body Boot Camp.
Leveraging stuff here.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, everything that I've learned, I've gotten from someone else. Nothing's new.
No, you're absolutely.
To give credit where it's due. So
you're absolutely correct.
But that name really caught with me. I was like, the fat furnace. Yeah, we go there and things start heating up, and we just put in work. So
nice.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Tuesdays at 6 p.m. and Saturday at 10 a.m. We have the fat furnace, and it's just an hour of variety. I mean, you're going to hit 20, 30 different exercises. We just want to hit people with as many different things as possible, as regularly as possible, because from what I've seen, the body adapts to everything. The first time you do it, the body starts adapting. I know the whole, try it for 30 days and see what happens. I say try it for an hour, see what happens after the hour, and if you love it, keep doing it. And from there, just keep the variety going to be as well-rounded as possible. So, and we got a really good reception when we kicked them off. And it's really nice because with calisthenics, there's so much you can do with just your body weight. So, and it just, through these classes, we're able to share with people that you could do 100 different exercises in 1 week. Every week you can learn 100 new exercises instead of I'm doing the same routines over and over and over, and people love it. And it forces growth in our personal game as well, because we constantly got to come up with something new, and make sure people aren't getting bored and whatnot.
You raised the bar last class, so we can't go back down. You got to keep pushing and pushing.
Yep.
Yeah, and we don't only do just bodyweight stuff in the classes. We do incorporate the weights, and especially the BOSU balls, the Swiss balls, kettlebells. We incorporate stuff like that. So we never put them on the machines or anything. So they're always different, a big variety in those.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that, like we were talking about before, that everyone had that solid foundation of how to move your body pound for pound wise before we got to machines. I see so many people that get addicted to the machines. They're just easy.
They really are. I mean, like if you don't know what you're doing, like this was me. We were talking a little bit beforehand. Like when I was younger than you, joined at a gym for the first time. I had my Muscle and Fitness or my Flex magazine, and it was back in Buys Day. All right, let's there's a back machine. Don't need a spotter. Don't need to, it's not intimidating. You can just sit and kind of move the pin and you just go, right?
Yeah.
Yep. There's pros and cons to it, but yeah, it's a tough one to start with.
Yep. So before I actually stumbled across Paul Chek, like we were talking about with Scott, he'd mentioned Paul Chek a few times. Before I stumbled across Paul, I would hit the machines. I had a great physique. I was bulked up. I looked good, but I couldn't do what I looked like I could do. And that bothered me tremendously. And, I could get the aesthetic portion, but my performance wasn't there. And I was seeing people that didn't have as good a physique and they could do this, and it just really bothered me. So I ended up getting hurt, just ego lifting, of course, because you can just slide the pin, like you're saying, you can just drop the pin, and all of a sudden the numbers, you're like, oh yeah, I can like press this much weight, but then when I would go to do simple little things, something would tweak, and well, why is that happening?
Because you're not in that exact position, because it forces you to not be, like if you're doing, I don't know, any type of a lift or a pull, your back is in the exact perfect position for support.
Correct.
Because then when you go back to your house to pick up a book or a bag or something off the ground, that's not in the perfect position, is it?
No.
And then you're like, oh, what the hell just happened to me?
Yeah, I tell people that all the time too. Like, be careful. You're going to pick up your kids. So many people. That was one thing that we really pride ourselves is our injury rates are through the ground.
That's good.
So
That's
because
huge.
you just teach people. We need to learn how to squat. We need to learn the 7 primal patterns, as from Paul Chek's system, and from his book How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. It absolutely changed my
Which is
my
right
life.
there, because you can't see it, but it's there. I see it.
We're
I'm vouching
pointing
for
at
it.
But once I started to study that, I mean, it's a children's book. It's a children's picture book. So once I started to study that and I started to gain that understanding, I started to share that with Anna, the understanding of this. And we both started to see that, wow, we've moved away from lifting these weights and doing these things, but we're so much stronger. We can do our pull-ups, our push-ups, and all these other things with ease now. And it was like, well, what is going on here? Because what have we been missing for all these years? We were naturally gifted for so long, but that your natural talents start to wear out, and that's where the technique started to come into play. So we started to double back and to do the simple things, because I find that most people get hurt with the simple things in life. They can rise the mind will it will force enough testosterone and adrenaline to rise up to the occasion to do the hard things, but it's the little things that we trip up and get hurt on, like starting a leaf blower. As people pull my back out, but it's like the other day I just saw you lifting the 50-pound dumbbells the other day.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
Or another thing to add on to that is why we start every new client or every new member with bodyweight movements to start. It's because, like, for example, they could do a lot on the machines, a lot of weight, or they could go right to the bench press and just like press weight, but they still can't do a proper pull-up, they still can't do a proper push-up, a proper bodyweight squat. So it's like they can do these movements with the weights, but you still can't do things properly with your body weight. So that's why we like to start everyone with body weight movements.
yeah, to build on that too, Charles Poliquin, I was listening to a phenomenal podcast of his the other day, and he was, I forget exactly who she was, but she was a gold medalist wrestler. And he said that when he first started training, she already had a gold medal in her bag, and when he first started training with her, she couldn't do a pull-up. I said, okay, so she's a gold medalist in wrestling already, but she can't do a pull-up. So there's just too many signs that just go to show that, I mean, these guys are onto something. These guys are almost 60 years old.
Yeah.
And they're doing things that elite athletes in their 20s only dream of doing.
Yeah, you're hitting on something right there. I don't know if I've ever said it before. I know I've spoken to my friends about it, and I always talk about trainers and then these young kids like yourselves. No, I'm actually, actually, well, I'm referring to like people who, let's say, just jump out of college and they're a trainer and they're ready to go and they want to train people, and they do have a great deal of knowledge and energy to give to people, but there's something to be said for experience as well. As some of the first things you both of you were saying to me when I came in was about, we're so early in our careers, we want to learn, and we're open to learning from everywhere. And those are the things, I think those are the signs of a really great mind, a really great person who wants to help people, because you can't get pigeonholed into one line of thought. And I think 20, 30 years ago, schools of thought were very different in terms of approaches. Like you're talking about a proper body weight squat. And by proper, I'm interpreting, you mean proper positioning, proper technique,
proper
because you're
form.
engaging the core. You're not just exercising your thighs. Just like, the Olympic caliber wrestler, obviously very strong in many regards, but couldn't do a pull-up.
Right.
Very interesting. Kind of makes you raise your eyebrow.
Yeah.
It sounded so weird when I heard it. I started to chuckle. I thought it was so weird, but I see it in here all the time. I see guys they can slap 6 plates on the bar, no problem, consecutively. But I ask these guys to say, come train with me sometime. Sessions on the house, just because I don't want them to feel out of intimidated. So I say, well, we're just going to go over a couple things, and when they get down to do it, they can't lunge, they can't squat, they can't pull up, And it's just, those are the basic moves that you use every day. I mean, when you get into your car, you squat down with a twist to get into the car.
Yeah.
So, there's just subtle things.
Well, you said pick up your kid, pick up your dog, pick up a propane tank for the grill because it's grilling season, even though it's raining. Groceries, yeah. I mean, what person, when they come back from the grocery store, doesn't try to load up everything in one trip, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to overload one side over the other. It's not perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
You get it's the problem of getting your form over functionality.
Right.
Like that was, I think, what drew me to want to reach out to you on social media, and because I saw you doing some. I think running some classes with some clients and doing a lot of body weight activities, some dynamic exercises. And then I think it was this morning you posted something and I was like, what the fuck was that? The one-legged jump?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Single-leg box
Oh,
jumps,
yeah.
Single-legged
Yesterday.
that wasn't just a box jump, people. On your Instagram page, what's your Instagram? It's Stevie Ray?
At S-Tryon.
At S-Tryon.
S-T-R-Y-O-N.
Do a one-legged box jump, and it looked like the box was as high as your waist
That was 36 inches, yeah.
with one leg.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, we were in here yesterday doing
Yeah,
that.
we were just having fun. It happened. I wasn't intending to do it. It was actually at the end of. I had my 3 brothers in here with us, and we messing around on the Swiss balls and doing some other stability stuff. Just having a blast, just having a good time, and we started doing box jumps. And I decided, we had finished the 2-legged box jumps, standing box jumps. So I said, let's try this single leg box just to spice it up. I want to test my brothers, of course, to see where they're at, push them a little further. But we were doing that, and I was thinking of Elliot Holtz from Strength Camp, who I'm a big fan of, and he's mentored me. And a lot of people be like, "Oh, you've never met him in person." No, when I'm watching these guys online, they're mentoring me. They're talking to me because I know I'm not going to listen if they don't have something that I want to hear. So. And I watched him do a single leg 36-inch box jump, and that's what inspired me. I was like, oh, well, if Ellie could do it, I gotta try it. I mean, maybe I would fail, but I gotta give it a go. And I pulled it off. But it's simply a product. We don't practice that stuff. That's simply the result and the product of our overall training.
Exactly.
They're fun, but I mean, when am I really gonna need to do something like that? So they're kind of party tricks and things like that. But it just goes to show that if my training is well-rounded and I'm honest with myself, you can do more than you think you could ever imagine you could do. But it's moments like that where you're joking around, having fun, that you would test yourself because, who cares if I fail or this or that? I'm just going to try it. And then all of a sudden, whoa, I actually pulled that off. So what else can I do if I'm just doing this for fun? So
that's got to be a big gap to jump with some clients. I would imagine, I'm not going to push it on to other people. I'll own it and say it would be a gap for myself, right? It's the fear of failure where you're sitting there and you're trying to get people. You're talking about kind of building them up as they come in, taking them from wherever they are, if they're advanced or if they're hurt or something, getting to that point to want to be able to take that jump. It's daunting and probably, I would think, one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental, people hold back mentally a lot. They can do more than they think they can do. And another thing is I noticed endurance-wise, a lot of people need to work on their endurance is another thing on top of just learning the body weight movements better. And
yeah, because, and to build on it too, maybe you can do something one time and you can do it well. But can you do it again? And can you do it again? And can you do it again? I mean, I'm not saying you got to do it for an hour straight, but you need to be, just because you can do one thing, you need to sustain, your endurance needs to last for a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't need to be an elite athlete, and most of us will never be elite athletes. But you gotta hold yourself to a certain standard. I like to throw quotes out with I got tired of just making up things. I'm explaining what I'm doing. The video speaks for itself,
Yep.
So now I'll grab quotes from here and there. And the quote I posted this morning was the second component of developing a successful culture is standards of performance. If you don't have a level by which you measure yourself by, what are you doing it for? Most of the time I see people just going for the numbers. The numbers are great and all.
Yep.
But, and Hannah will laugh at this, but I always bring it back to caveman days. I'll check, go figure. So say civilization shit the bed and we were thrust back into, just say the forest, caveman days, survival. You don't have numbers. You don't have things to measure yourself by other than your standards of performance. oh well, I ran down this rabbit yesterday because I needed food. I was able to carry these logs to help build the pillars of my my shelter and this and that. The next day, it's just, can you survive? What are your standards of performance? And I noticed that so many people, they come into the gym, and I'm not exactly sure what the thinking is, but there's no real standard that they're going by. It's just, oh, I slapped 6 plates on the bar yesterday, or I did this much yesterday. Maybe I can throw a couple more on there, and I see where the ego starts to kick in a bit there.
That's a tough one because like I get where you're going, and I agree, and I like the mode of thought because you've got every person is going to have like a different motivation. Whether somebody's going to come in and if they're going to be a competitive weightlifter, okay, that's one thing. Okay, get it, and that's cool if you want to do it. But to the point of I want to get healthy and strong, and I went from being able to do nothing on a bench press to 2 and to 3 plates, and the mindset is naturally goes, I wonder how far I can go to try to push it. But then I like the question of to what end? Mm-hmm. Do you want to? It's not a wrong answer of saying, hey, I want to see how strong I can get in bench. That's fine. But if you got to the point of benching 400, 500, 600 pounds, met a guy a couple weeks ago, 900. And that's incredible because he's competitive, of course. Yeah. But the whole point is like the non-competitive person. What's the goal? What's the end game? Why are you paying monthly dues to come here?
Right.
And it seems like that's kind of, if you take away the numbers of the weights, then it turns into what's the outcome? When you walk out of the doors, what do you hope to achieve?
Yeah,
right. A lot of people just come to just get a sweat in, and they literally tell us that like in the classes they'll be like, just kick my ass, and then but we always, and Steve has them now answer like, what is your goal for tonight's class, so they can start thinking, oh, I want to work on form in this class, or I want to do this or that. So
intention is everything. It's really the sum of your intentions, and it's great to be able to perform these feats of strength. I love to, perform strong feats and whatnot like that. It feels good. It feels great. And you're absolutely building a form of strength that is more mental than anything. But eventually the body is going to max out. And eventually you're not going to be able to get any higher. So what happens, say you got 10 plates on the bar and you're deadlift. What happens when you can't go above 10 plates? What then? Or what happens when you can't do more than 200 push-ups in a row? What then? I spent all this time building up to do 200 push-ups, and I can't get to 201. So what then? And when I leave here, what am I gonna bench press that's gonna be that heavy? I'm always looking for the realistic factor behind it. How can I use this in real life? Because I tell everybody all the time, I say, I've got the people I'm training, I say, I got you for an hour. If I don't see you again for another 2 days, what are you doing for the other 47 hours? And how is this applying to that? What are you using this for? And where did you notice that either you were struggling in or that you were excelling in? And I want that relation because it's a holistic mindset. And, obviously nothing's perfect and nothing is completely complete, but just the general, we try to teach people just the general of the holistic. You got to get your sleep. You got to recover. You got to eat well. You got to get your hydration. You got to have your doctor quiet time, just yourself, and you got to get your training right. But if you're missing a component of all that, then I think more of the ego is just kicking in at that point. I'm just training because I want to look good, and there's nothing wrong with looking good, and nothing whatsoever.
Because I think if you take that one at face value, if you dig deeper, going why do you want to look good? Well, I want to look attractive to the opposite sex. I want my wife, my husband to find me attractive. I want to fit in the jeans. I want to make myself feel good, which I think are good things.
Absolutely.
And getting back to what you were saying about what happens when you max out, not everybody here is like, Hafthor Bjornsson, I don't know if you follow that. The World's Strongest Man just wrapped up.
The deadlifts.
He just won World's Strongest Man, and these are guys who deadlift well over 1,000 pounds and all that crap. And they just keep adding on. But they're like the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
Generally. But I'm also assuming that if you had somebody coming in as a client, as a, maybe, I don't want to say professional athlete, but it could be a professional athlete in this location, collegiate or whatever, where you're working more on the performance of an athletic perspective, you're taking that and you're honing in on those specific needs as well as, the general everyday Joe like myself.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, without a doubt. And more often than not, from my own personal experience, anyways, and the data that I've gathered from watching myself with an honest, taking a step outside myself and saying, okay, so why are you doing this, Steve? Where have you come from? Where are we going? And how have you been measuring yourself? In regards to performance and athletes, collegiate athletes, I often find more times than not, it's not necessarily so much that we got to tweak their training habits, it's more we got to mess with all the other things, and then once we plug all those cogs into the machine, all of a sudden their training just skyrockets, and because I don't want to get in the way of someone's performance, and who am I to say, oh, well, you're not performing, this correctly, or this, because it's their body, and I don't know your body, you're the best doctor you'll ever know, and who am I to tell you better about yourself? I can only give you, my truths are only truths for me because they work for me. I can give you the best advice and best opinions that I can, but at the end of the day, they're just opinions.
We were just talking about this, like in terms of diet and nutrition, about like the way my body metabolizes and breaks down rice, maybe extremely different than yours. And that concept of going, this is what generally works for me, and I want to talk you through it. And then you have to kind of listen to your body, kind of feel how it goes. So that, when you mention a holistic approach and the holistic mindset of working with people, are you talking to them about listening to their body and kind of coaching them on like the physical cues, the non-physical cues as well, in terms of how to hone in on these things?
It's extremely important to listen to your body, especially when it comes to nutrition, because like, for example, I give this example to people, some really healthy foods such as broccoli, for me, I can't really eat it because the fiber is just a little too much for me and it makes my stomach hurt. But obviously it's known as a superfood and you should be eating it if you can metabolize it right. But so with the foods you eat, obviously listen to your body to see how your body reacts to them, and then just see how you're feeling each day when you come into the gym. Like, we have multiple times I'll have a client come in that didn't get much sleep that night before, and I'm so glad when they tell me, because you can't always read someone that they're tired or this or that, so that will change up our training for that day. But it's just really important to listen to your body for sure.
So when you're working with somebody about that, the example of broccoli is phenomenal, because like I was talking before about like the bodybuilding diet, which is chicken and broccoli, right? Maybe maybe rice as well, and but broccoli is a very difficult digestion one where a lot of people will have problems with it, and you feel bloated and puffy, you just don't feel comfortable.
It actually took me, because I've generally always ate pretty healthy, except within the last like 3 years when I cut out processed food pretty much completely is when I totally noticed like significant changes, and not only my shape but also hair growth, nail growth, skin clearing up, stuff like that. But yes, even foods for me such as like quinoa, which is like amazing for you, stuff like that, I've tried to eat it because I was like reading so much about it, how healthy it is, but I was not reacting well to it personally for me, but it might be great for someone else.
That's exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying, because you've got like it's a superfood, right?
Exactly.
It's one of the quote unquote
like
superfoods.
if you Google superfoods, it's on that list.
Yeah, it's there, and you can't really deny the nutritional aspects and whatnot to it. But what you can deny is what it's doing to your gut and your body.
How you feel,
Yeah. So when you're talking about honing in and listening to your body, and you're working with a client, and Steve, you too, and how do I do that? What kinds of tips, like what are the things you kind of try to talk them through, aside from like, how does your body feel? Because there's a million variables, like you were talking about sleep. You could have eaten like 17 different things yesterday. Let's try to hone in on these things, because it's like a science. You're really trying to dissect the 20 things that changed to produce the output of a workout that was kind of, okay, this didn't look like the normal you, Rossi. What was going on here?
Right.
Exactly. Well, I noticed, like, for example, one of my clients, when she doesn't sleep well, I notice she'll sweat a lot more in here when we're not even doing much. And I think it's just her body's reacting under stress of just not having enough sleep. And she turns red a little bit quicker. Yep. Like, before we even got really started. Like, we might be just warmed up on the treadmill. Yep. So certain different people, you notice different things. But for her, I noticed that. And then a tip I give for food, a big tip I give is people should just listen to their body about, and this is general, but just eat when you're feeling hungry and stop when you're feeling satisfied. Not when you're full and stuffed, but satisfied, so you're you still feel good and you don't feel like gross after. Because, you know, sometimes people just overdo
They'll
it with the
keep go-
food. Yeah.
I have to literally tell my son to stop.
Yeah.
And he's like, I still want to eat. And I'm like, I tell you what, you wait 15, 20 minutes, you can have some more. And, you know, and then if he's still hungry, I give him more because sometimes I don't. And the next thing, oh, my belly hurts. That's because, and I blame myself because I'm his dad. And okay, next time we're not going to do this.
Exactly. And one more thing I tell people is to try to, which I do every day, is just to enjoy like your food, enjoy the process of cooking it as well as sitting down and eating it and not rushing through. Like he knows I wake up 2 hours before I have to leave to come here because I want to make my breakfast. I want to sit down and enjoy it. I want to like play with my dog, like, you know, and just like exactly. And like you were saying, having your quiet time to yourself, like that's my time for myself. So.
Yeah, no, Again, I mean, like I said, giving credit where credit's due. I never thought this way. I mean, I guess I'm a very intuitive person, so I trust my instincts quite a bit. If you're into the astrology, I'm a Cancer, so I trust my gut. Your gut is your real brain because your gut feeds your brain. So what you're putting into your gut is what you're getting out. If you're putting trash in, you're going to have trashy thoughts, you know. But if you go to all the world champions in the world and ask them, say, now what did you do? How did you get here? What were your training methods? And they all say the same thing: I mastered the basics. So we're always trying to build off the simplest of themes for people. Just to enjoy the process of cooking your food. Enjoy, you know, take your time, and you know it's the Paul Chek system of your four doctors: Dr. Quiet, Dr. Diet, Dr. Movement, and Dr. Happiness. And if you don't have your Dr. Quiet, you don't have time for self-reflection. Where you can't take time to think, where am I going today? Where am I going to set my goal? What's the destination? Or else we're just floating around.
That's huge. That's so huge because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking at all this incredible gym you've got here, all the awesome equipment, the shiny. It's very pretty, but we're talking about all the coaching you're doing with people on stuff they do not in these walls here.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's the part that's like striking to me because when you're talking about that mindfulness, it's obviously not here. I mean, maybe there's a part of you that kind of finds inner peace when you're kind of zoning in on the treadmill or something like that.
Yeah.
But
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, it's the same. We tell people all the time. We say everything you do out there will make or break your training. You know, nutrition is queen and fitness is king, and without them, you just can't have the kingdom. It's just not possible. But you know, I mean, you got your Dr. Diet. What are you eating? And, you know, everybody says, I'm going on a diet and this and that. No, you've been on a diet since you were born. It's the daily intake of edible things.
I love that.
You know,
I love that. I hate that. What's your diet? I'm dieting. No, I'm not dieting. I eat.
Yeah.
It's my nutritional regimen.
Exactly.
And I love that.
Exactly. We make it so complicated when in reality it's super simple. It's simply, did I feel good when I ate this? Did it give me gas? Am I bloating? Am I fatigued? Am I super energetic? Do I still feel hungry? You know, 20 minutes later, this or that. But everybody wants that now. They want that immediate. How can I get my reward right now? And it's not real. And Dr. Movement and Dr. Happiness. How are you moving? We used to have up on the board. We're always changing the theme, but train intentionally and not habitually. From Naudi Aguilar of Functional Patterns. That's where I jacked that from. But it's the reality of the truth that people come in and like in the classes I say, what's the goal tonight? What are we working on? And then people will say, I just came to get my ass kicked, or I just came to break a sweat. And I say, those are the things that are guaranteed. Now we're just banking on now we're just taking things for granted because you're going to get your ass kicked in tonight's session. Most likely anyway. You're going to break a sweat. But what is the goal? What do we come in today? Some people say, you know, tonight I want to work on my posture. Tonight I want to work on my endurance. I want to get these moves down right so that, you know, once I get the moves down, then I can branch off those moves and other things, which leads us to Dr. Happiness. If you don't have Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, and Dr. Movement, well, you're definitely not happy. You know, if you're not eating well, you can't be happy because your body's not accepting of the foods you're eating. If you're not having time for self-reflection, then you're in the go, 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 go. How can you be happy when you're nonstop? And if you're moving in ways that, you know, you're constantly judging yourself in the mirror, how can you possibly be happy with that? And the kicker is, if you deny those 4 doctors, you meet the pain teacher. And the pain teacher will kick your ass until you go back and find out and, you know, reassess your situation and make the corrections where needed. So it's crazy. There's so much that we tell people, and people get so overwhelmed because in reality they know the truth.
Yeah, when you talk about nutrition, it's like, I know that pizza is bad for me. but it tastes so damn good.
Yep.
I know that I should get to bed now, but let me just check one more YouTube video.
Yep.
Let me just see what's going on Facebook.
And another thing, for example, like the pizza, I always tell people there's always a healthier version of your favorite junk food. Like if you put in the effort to like actually make it yourself, then one, that's gonna be healthier because obviously you know what you're making, and there's always organic ingredients like the crust, the sauce, whatever higher quality ingredients you could use to make an even better pizza, and you're not going to feel like shit after. So
Absolutely.
I tell people that all the time.
When you picture having pizza, even if you're going and you're buying it from your favorite pizzeria, I think one of the bigger issues is not only that you're just rewarding yourself with a couple of slices, because is it ever a couple of slices?
Exactly, yeah.
No, for me it's a whole pie, but for most people it's a half. But it's like, okay, have the pizza, maybe make some shifts and changes and try to get something that's a bit more healthy. And I'm not saying, cauliflower crust, because I tried that and I just failed miserably.
Never tried that.
No,
yet.
don't. Oh,
Interesting.
But like, have something on the side of it. Don't make the pizza the main and only course of it.
And this goes along with people being in tune with their self and how their body feels, because for example, if you can't stick to one slice, even if you make like a healthy version, then maybe it's time for you to like cut that out. Because I know for me, like tortilla chips and salsa, like I'll kill the whole bag.
You ain't kidding.
So I'm just not buying that for a while.
You know what makes sense.
I tried to get it by the spicier salsa, so we don't know.
Right.
So it hurts. I can't do it. No, it makes sense.
Yep.
So it's just like thinking about little things like that, and then it can make a big difference.
No, those are really good tips when you're talking about listening to your body and knowing yourself. Absolutely. It's like, maybe I can have a cheeseburger and I'm only going to have the one, as opposed to eating a half of a pizza or a whole thing or whatever. And you can obviously, with a cheeseburger, you can go 100 different ways to make it not bad at all. I mean, you get away from like the processed white buns and all that kind of stuff. And there goes another happy, satisfied client.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because I just saw on Facebook on a forum, and I won't mention it. I do enjoy the forum, but I enjoy it more because you get to see. We live in a culture full of cheaters. Simple and plain. You may Steve, you're going to call us. Who am I to judge? Nobody, because I know 1,000 ways to cheat as well. But I see that, for example, the forum was talking about: is it possible to drink alcohol and have a nice body? And every single person said yes, and then they listed their reasons of why. Oh, as long as you make it fit your macros, and at the end of the day, it's like it comes down to one of two things. Do you want to live better, or do you want to live the way you're living right now? It's simple and plain. It's not like, I'm going to make one change and then everything is going to get better, because everything affects everything else. So make this change here. Okay, you'll see improvements. So make another change, another change, another change. Actions, plural. Everybody's like, I'm going to take one action. I'm just going to cut this out for a couple days and, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work that way. Or I'm going to train harder to balance all this. It doesn't work that way.
I'm going to skip lunch so I can have a couple of extra glasses of wine. Or
and we deal with people under eating, like skipping meals and then trying to come in for their session, and they're exhausted,
all the time,
out of energy.
I think that is a chronic issue in today's society in terms of not eating enough food, and that's predominantly in women, just from what I've seen. It's probably really bad in men too, but I mean, women doing that, and then also the point of what you're saying is like, can I have I could have a couple of beers, or I could have a couple glasses. I'll just skip lunch and skip breakfast, and my calorie on my app on my phone, my Fitness Pal or whatever, it's all going to work out.
And they're all about the numbers.
That's
and it's
exactly what
it's
I was
like,
saying.
yeah, and it's like, is there nutrients in that? Like, is that making you feel full? Because wine isn't gonna. I mean, I don't really drink, but wine I don't think will make you feel satisfied like a nutritious salad with chicken and protein and healthy fats and whatnot in it,
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. And it's people will make excuses more than anything. And don't get me wrong, man. Believe me. Granted, I haven't had anything to drink in over 7 months, but man, I'll tell you, I'll go for a good double IPA, or there's some really heady brews.
There's some really. This is a good time to enjoy IPAs in this area, especially in the Northeast, people, because Northeast IPAs kick ass.
Absolutely. but it's that, can you have just one? Why are you drinking? Are you drinking because you're trying to get fucked up? Are you drinking because you're just having fun with your friends? Are you drinking by yourself? I mean, there's a host of factors for every situation, and what it comes down to is it's something that when you're putting it into your body over time, it's just gonna. Oh, my tolerance. I had one. I can have two. I can have three. And the potencies in these brews, man.
Right. So then, okay, so you've got the calories, which are empty, no
Empty.
micronutrients, right?
None.
Then they're higher in alcohol. These IPAs, it's not like you're going out drinking a Coors Light.
Yep.
And then, so you're getting all fucked up. Then the next morning, how long does it take you to recover? So not only
Right.
are you going out on a night and spending 2 or 3 hours with some friends, or 4 or 5 hours, which is cool, but then you're wrecked the next day. And then if you can even
Right.
get into the gym, I'll still make it to the gym in the afternoon, your performance is shit.
There's no chance. I've seen 3-4 days is just the average recovery time after 3-4 drinks. And most people aren't eating before they drink, So, I mean, they are just... And most people, I get a lot of people that ask me, you say, how come sometimes I can have one drink and I'm rocked, but other days I can have 3-4 drinks? You say, well, you ate something before, right? Oh, well, maybe I was blocking it up back into the stomach lining a little bit, or this or that. But the issue with the under eating is guys too. I see it on the regular. I got a client that's he decided he wanted to go on a little diet thing, and the man was 230 pounds on a 12 or 1300 calorie diet.
Oh my god,
But
that's
it just,
awful.
and it's just.
And I'm not a nutritionist, and I know that's not a lot.
Should
He's
never
miserable.
go that low.
Absolutely miserable the whole entire time, and tell me, I can't stand this diet. So why are you doing it? You're not happy. So what are you going to do to change it? People just aren't willing to admit that. Okay, this didn't work. It was fun. It was a fad. More than anything, there's just so many fads these days.
Oh yeah.
Sure, maybe for the first day or two, I felt good because
Like
a
a
lot of
keto
people
thing?
could go on a water fast.
Oh
for
god, the
2
liquid
days.
fasting and all that stuff.
But
Oh my God.
after 2, 3, 4, 5 days, they're going on the keto thing. I don't know all the details on the keto, but all I know is that I like my food. I like the process of cooking it. I like to eat it. I like the variety of things, and I know what my body needs. So I don't really want to just suddenly cut out all these things or this or that, or make any radical changes, because any time that you make a radical change and all of a sudden you just have this massive growth, and God bless CrossFit. I love a good CrossFit box. I love what they're doing for the simple fact that they're getting people moving.
You can't argue with some of the concepts that they've got going
Yeah.
on.
But I see that if anything works that good, that fast, how long can that you sustain something that, yesterday, I was 290 pounds and, within a month I'm down 35, 40 pounds. And it's like, that's a lot of weight to just drop like that. And I mean, that's obviously a radical explanation, but I mean, anything that gets you to the top that quick, the greatest things take time.
Yeah, and I think you're probably aiming more on the keto side, which is very closely associated with your CrossFit athletes and CrossFit.
It's such a
kinda
gray
like
area
that
I'm
genre.
I'm sure I'm going to irritate some people.
No.
But
So I'm going to keep poking at that because it's funny because maybe a year to 2 years, 3 years ago, whatever, the keto thing resurfaces or surfaces. We can argue about if it's a resurface or whatever. And it's incredible. It's the bomb. It's everybody's got to do it. And you hit it on the head. For the first 2 to 3 days, you're going to notice some drastic changes, and you're going to feel really good. But then all of a sudden, you're going to also notice if you're doing strict ketosis, like by the book, ketogenic diet, you're not feeling good. And it's interesting because I've heard lots of different people speak about this. And even Rob Wolf, who's kind of like one of those upper echelon godfathers, whatever, practitioners, creators, whatever, of it, has also started to talk more about different things of shifting, ebbing and flowing. And I've heard him say a number of times about the way that his body processes certain foods is very different than everybody else. Like, not saying that his is better. It's like my wife, they would test their glucose all the time. So his wife will eat a cup of rice, and then he'll do the same thing, and they'll test to see the differences. And just the way that your body's processing it, very different. So, like when I hear people jumping into, I'm going to do keto because I'm following this person on Instagram, I get scared.
Is keto's the high fat and but no carb, right? or
right.
generally no carbs?
It's high fat. The bulk of your calories are coming in from the good fats.
Okay,
of course,
good
which
fats.
is great, and that makes sense. And then your secondary is your protein intake, and then you're getting like limited, if any, type of carbs.
So
like,
does that include fruits too? Okay.
Okay, so now
Interesting.
it's going to depend on which person you go and listen to, because
Right.
like Mark Sisson has done some really good stuff about his, and he's got a great website, and there's some interesting things there about the fruits that are acceptable or not. And then you can start talking to other people about it or reading about it from others, and it's almost like these little spin-off, I don't want to say cults, but these spin-off cults.
Yeah.
And I think that people are realizing that.
With a lowercase c.
Yeah, with a lowercase c. Yeah, I think people are starting to realize that there's some really good things that came out of this big keto push, where I think like the healthy fats thing and all of the emphasis that they put on, hey, sugar is horrific for you, like the refined sugars, additive
totally.
sugar, and then the fact that avocados and coconut oil and these things, it's actually kind of good for you. You should be having them. Eggs are good for you. The egg yolk is the best thing in the world for you, or one of. And that the American Heart Association may not actually be correct in saying that you should use
like that
canola
documentary, like, oh my god, we were like, this is so dumb. The what the health
What the health?
I just don't think people should. I feel like a lot of people are just confused on what to eat when they're trying to eat healthy, so they just go right into these like paleo or vegan or keto, and it's like
they look at people that got such a good physique, and it's
well,
like,
you're shredded. I'm going to eat what you eat.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
right.
It works
But then
for you, so.
I always tell people, I never tell them to follow like. I don't even tell them what foods to eat unless if they're asking for a list of like healthy foods. But I just say like drink. We tell people like up to a gallon a day if you can, and then we just say stick away from processed food and try to buy organic as much as you can. Like, and then obviously listen when you're full and stop eating when you're full and all that. But I never say follow this diet. Like,
I think it's the best way to approach it, because if you look at all of these different people who've been around for a while, like who have staying power, like it doesn't matter. You're going to see some commonalities, like eat whole earth-grown nutrients, the organics,
whole
the
foods.
balance.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is listening to your body, because some people are really big onto like the whole grains, not like eating tons of them, but say that they're very good for you. Then others are like, you got to listen to your body, because if you're eating, the steel cut oats every day and your body's making noise, like really listen to your belly, because you can hear it bubbling and popping.
Right.
Just because somebody's saying it's good doesn't mean it's going to be good for you.
I see strategically too these advertisements. Why is everybody ripped? Why is everybody perfect?
I want that. I want those pills.
What is perfection?
Those people don't even really use the product. I feel like they're just that.
You mean they're
it's
lying
a
to
marketing
me?
tool.
They're lying?
Like,
The hell you say?
Lying.
They're airbrushed. And,
right?
No, it's all bullshit. Or they're juiced out of their gills and they're coming in to look good. Or they didn't eat for 3 days and they didn't drink and they dropped every bit of water
for the photo shoot
because maybe they're not
It's like
steroid
it's
people.
like the grass is greener on the other side, but maybe because it was fertilized with bullshit. So
I think
it's like it's like definitely, but you got to find out for yourself. At the end of the day, I see a lot of people. I got to go see my doctor. What does your doctor know about you that you don't know?
I'm hitting a point.
Your doctor cannot cure you.
Yeah.
It's just, no doctor in the history of doctordom has ever cured anything. Your body can cure your body only. If you put the right ingredients into your body, create the right environment, your body will take care of itself. It is a very intricate system of systems. And instead of trying to, it's like a ball of yarn. Instead of trying to just grab one string and just pull it out and say, I'm going to unravel all this and this is the key to it. No. It's a very intricate system, and you have to approach everything on a very delicate level.
Right. And it doesn't only go for food. It goes, what are you putting on your body? This is why we mainly just use coconut oil now for, like, lotion, oil pulling for the teeth, like hair. Like,
I know that,
because
even though
these
I don't
lotions
have
these lotions have, like, so many chemicals in them. It's ridiculous. And your skin is, like, absorbing all that.
No, you're absolutely right. And when you were talking about doctors, it's really interesting because like I'm taking notes here, and I'm not like taking notes because I'm gonna tell on you later. But sometimes I forget things, so I have to write them down.
No, it's smart.
But So, doctors, it's really interesting how we're a society of people that will go to the doctors because we're in pain or there's something wrong, and then it's a reactive society as opposed to preventative.
Right.
You know, and I don't mean
Yeah.
like I fell and hurt myself. Okay, well, maybe you should open your eyes and, you know,
Right.
don't trip or something.
Right.
But I mean like, I've got these chronic headaches all the time, doctor. Okay, here, take these pills. As opposed to, okay, wait a minute, let's take a step back. What types of things are
Yeah.
you eating now compared to a month ago? Are you drinking enough water? Generally, hydration is a huge, one of the huge roots of tons of things. Like your headaches, a lot of times can be traced back to your hydration levels. If you're tired all the time, that kind of thing. I'm not saying that you break your arm, go drink a glass of water.
Yep.
You got to
Well,
go
because
get
they're
that
not
set.
trying to cure you. They want you to be a recurring customer so they can make the money from it. And when you think about your doctor appointments, you're in the waiting room sometimes an hour. You're in the actual room for 5 minutes. I've had times where I'm asking them legit questions about things, and they're giving me the most basic, bland answers. They're just trying to rush me out of there.
I coulda Googled
It's just
that.
why did
Yeah.
I waste my
I
time?
could have got that
And
on the
it's,
first.
Exactly.
and we're,
Yeah.
we're painting with broad brushes, but let's keep painting
Right.
that way because it's like you get this diagnosis of something, and here's a pill that's going to help get your levels of whatever to the right
Yeah.
level. Great. Now, am I supposed to be taking this pill for the rest of my life? Because it doesn't actually sound good to me.
Right.
I don't mind if I had a problem with my shoulder not too long ago, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't torn, so we took pictures, whatever. It wasn't inflamed. I had a little anti-inflammatory, some rehabilitation, lots of ice. I'm cool. No pills, no nothing. I'm all set now. As opposed to you take a pill for the rest of your life is kind of scary, And to me, that I throw that out for everything, whether it's joint pains, this pains, your blood pressure levels, your thyroid, your pituitary, whatever, and it's just scary to have to take a prescription.
Yeah.
Where if you trace it back, a lot of times you can trace things back to nutritional. Where I
I
don't
was
think
just
these.
going to say that.
I
The
don't-
food is the medicine.
It really is. It's the preventative
Yeah.
piece of not getting there. And I don't think the doctors have that type of training in med
No.
school. As a matter of fact, I'm fairly certain they don't. It's about a different
They
set
learn
of
about
standards.
the pharmaceuticals. They don't learn about
school.
yeah.
You go to school to get school.
Textbook
Go to
stuff.
school to get education. Is from the Latin root word educare, which means to bring out what is within. So you're telling me that I already have everything inside me that I need. So I need to go. If I don't go within, I go without. You say, okay. Well, that's very confusing for a lot of people. We tell people all the time, you need to do some research. Every time you come in, you need to do two things. One, you need to tell me a joke. Because I need to hear some good jokes.
He does say
Because
that.
I tell nobody tells jokes anymore. And the second thing
true
is
statement,
you need to do some research. And you need to ask me a question. You need to ask me questions. Ask me questions. Ask me questions. Because, no questions? You don't have any questions? But you came here with all these problems, but you don't have any questions? So something's not working. So it just goes to show there's a dependency factor that people come in and they depend on you. They depend on you. Oh, tell me what to do. Maybe the training will change everything. It's not just this one thing. And then when you tell them something they don't want to hear, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, my doctor said this. But you're not at your doctor. You came to me because you went to your doctors already. And not saying that I know better than any doctors or anything like that. Simple fact of the matter is, I know so many people that went to school, went to college, and got schooled, and they came out and they have problems of their own. How many doctors do you know that are in peak physical condition?
That's a scary thing right there. Is when you go in to see your doctor and then they're out of shape. I did
Yeah.
have a doctor a ways back that he was playing around with different nutritional pieces, and he was the exception. I've never had a doctor like this before. He was awesome. He's like when I've been peeling back my carbohydrates and working on refined, and I last 2 months before that I was working on more complex carbs, and it didn't feel right. So I'm going here, and I was like, holy crap!
Rare birds.
That was a rarity. That was a rarity, and I think it might be more personality versus what
Correct.
they were trained.
Absolutely. It's because mind you, we're not bashing anybody. Just at the end of the day, what is school? School is the ability to memorize words in a textbook and to pencil in and to color in the correct circle. Well, that's kindergarten. I did that in kindergarten. I memorized that this crayon is green and number 2 is green. It's really. But when you ask them something, for example, we got a lot of physical therapists and whatnot running around out there, and personal trainers who are out of shape. If I'm coming to you for something, for example, if I'm coming to you to work on my body, you shouldn't have a beer gut. you know. But
Yeah.
That's the first sign, people.
It's become a sales game. Sell or be sold. You don't have to actually know that much about training. You don't have to actually be a good personal trainer. You have to be able to sell somebody and have that confidence. And that's such a difficult, because everything is such a business. Go, go, go. Sell, sell, sell. Make a profit. That because everybody knows, all trainers know, if you don't make sales, you're not. I got to sell you first before I can. I got to close the deal with you before I can train you. Well, that's what gets so dangerous, is that once I have your money, well, I've already got your money, and I can just keep you coming back. Every time somebody walks through here during their first assessment, first thing we do, we try to make them kneel on the Swiss ball. Can you kneel on a Swiss ball for 30 seconds? It tells us a whole bunch of stuff about your central nervous system. Second thing is, if you're not doing the basic things you already need to be doing, you need to understand that you're not doing the basic, simple things that you need to be doing. And most people have no clue about that stuff. And it's such a complicated situation because we just get lost right off the bat. And we try to give them so much information, but people don't want it. They honestly, they want that quick fix, and they don't want the understanding.
That's the it ties back to the advertisement, right?
Yeah.
You see the picture of the pretty girl, the pretty guy with the abs, or whatever, whatever the look might be. I want that. They're selling this. I'll buy it.
Yep.
I want to get fit. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to jump on the machine. It's right here. I'm going to jump on it and go.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's why, like, when we go to, we don't even go often ever really anymore, but like the Vitamin Shop or GNC, and you see that like customer talking with the sales guy, like in the like fat loss like supplement section. It's like I told Steve, like, we saw this in Westfield the other day, and I'm just like, that guy needs to save his money, freaking go in the gym, switch up what he's eating, and put in the work.
Thousands and
Like,
thousands and
How
thousands.
about when you go
And
to
it's
the
way
GNC
more
and the person's
rewarding.
out of shape?
Yep. Or
So-
the dude's got acne breaking out all over, and it's like, listen, your skin is the largest organ you got. When I look at you, forgive me, but I'm judging you. It's just I'm placing a judgment because I understand what I'm looking at, and there's only so much you need to know before you can see that if your skin looks weird, there's something going on inside. Simple and plain. So we tell people when they come through, we say, look, I want to make you a trainer. I want to show you all the tools that you need to know so that if one of your friends has a shoulder imbalance or something like that, you can teach them. You can set them on the right path. We're trying to build leaders here because there's not many leaders
And
anymore.
like we were saying, how doctors, they pretty much give people medicine so they're recurring customers. We're the opposite. Like you said, we want to teach people as much as we can because we don't want to have them as our client for a long time. Like,
people don't always like that. They say, look, I'm not
I
trying to
mean,
train you
some of
forever.
them we become good
What
friends
do you
with,
mean?
but it's like,
'Cause they find a dependency factor.
'Cause there's always gonna be
my
new
doctor, I've
people.
been seeing the same doctor. I've been seeing the same.
Yeah.
I love this. I've been seeing the same shrink for 10 years.
You're missing the video of this piece. But yeah, you're like going,
Yeah,
something's
the eyes
wrong
light up,
here?
you say,
Yeah.
What shrink? What? Come see me for 5
10
minutes.
years.
Just come see me for 5 minutes and tell me the things you tell her, and I'll be blatantly honest. You're gonna hate me afterward potentially, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, if it hurts your feelings, it hurts your feelings. But maybe it needed to hurt your feelings. And it's just so many topics we're merging together. But it's the holistic mindset that, look, it's not only about fitness. Yeah. It's not only about nutrition. Yeah, it starts with those two things: what you eat and how you move.
See, you guys are hitting it. A couple of weeks ago, I met with a Jim up at, he's got Absolute Nutrition Center up in Chicopee. They're doing the health
We're
and
heading up
fitness.
there
We're
next
going
next
into
week.
that.
On the
Yeah.
20th, I'm going too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm going to try to do
See
a
you
couple of
there.
interviews with people.
Yeah.
I've got my sponsor, Death Wish Coffee, got some stuff coming to me, so we got some
I
freebies.
actually had a
That's
couple
so-
death wish before we came in tonight.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Jeff?
he
that
drinks
Conor
it
McGregor,
now
baby.
every
That's what put
morning.
me onto
Yeah.
it.
Now, which one do you like? Do you have the flagship Death Wish brand,
Yep.
or that's the
Yep, the original. I actually got it from the Java Stop in Agawam. There's the
Are you
only,
hearing me?
that's
Are you
the
hearing me?
Only place that I know of that you can buy it in person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to order it online. But
That's-
that's the best coffee I've ever had.
It's okay. So it's kind of got this whole Death Wish, like, but okay, get beyond the name and get beyond the whole. It is a potent caffeine blend, but it actually tastes pretty good too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
And
It's
same
fantastic.
thing
And
with
it's
that.
organic.
Think about
Yes,
And
it's,
it's organic.
fair trade. I
Yep.
believe it's fair trade. Yeah.
And same thing with coffee, though. Like, we have people that drink way too much coffee, so something like Death Wish, think about how you feel after you have it, and maybe have only half a cup or just one mug a day,
Yeah.
and you'll be good. But yeah,
regulate. Don't just knock it
Exactly.
back and get used to it, because your body builds a tolerance very quickly, anything.
It goes back. Well, how I had to have extra coffee today. Why? Because you didn't sleep
Exactly.
right. It gets
Right.
back. So I was going to say. So up at the Health and Fitness Expo, Jim, this is very similar conversations to when I was talking with Jim, as he was saying something similar. He's like, you can come into my store, and I'm going to talk to you, and he's like, I want to find out what you need, why you want to get there. I'm not just going to sit and push pills down your throat or push product at you. I want to understand, because it is that holistic thing. So it's interesting that you guys are headed up there.
Yeah,
too.
and we never push I've never taken supplements before, as far as proteins and stuff like that, but we never push supplements on anyone. We always tell them get it through your food, and if we do, it's like iodine or something like that.
It's those things.
Well,
It's like, depending upon the day or whatever, you might not be able to eat enough. You got these hectic lifestyles, but we literally, it's the whole. The foundation is real food, and then based on you and your diet and whatever, there's going to be some small gaps. You fill in those gaps. You don't start with the supplement and go, if I have a protein bar and then this protein shake and another protein shake, that's 75% of my protein.
We tell people to get off
Meal
the
replacement
supplements.
I don't need to eat because I could do this, right? No, you got it backwards.
You don't
A lot
want
of
to
times,
depend
that's
on
the
that
first question
stuff.
people come in and ask me is, what kind of supplements would you recommend? And I dabbled with supplements. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars. GNC. I went through the whole route.
Gold card. Gold card member.
Yep, that's right, baby. They love me there.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I noticed when I went to GNC, because I would always do my research before I went there, and when the guy would talk to me, you're not recommending me to what I'm asking you for and what I need. I told you what I'm looking for and what I need. Now you're trying to sell me on your top products because you're trying to make a commission.
It's exactly
you're
what
not
it is.
giving me, point me in the direction. Be real with me.
Right.
Actually give a shit about what I'm sitting here in your face telling you what I'm here for, and you're trying to sell me on something else.
I will bet anything that if you go to any GNC, you take out of 100% of the people that are salesmen and saleswomen, they're not skilled to be able to do that, because what you're saying is, you're not coming in and say, tell me what the best protein is. Well, I can tell you which one's hot, which ones sell the most or whatever, but why do you need protein?
Right.
What do you think? Well, it's because in the mornings I have to move really quickly, blah, 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 blah. Well, now we're starting to diagnose and get to, and it's getting to the root of something, and maybe it is going to lead to, a protein powder might be good for you, but you're going to need a slow digestion one.
Right.
Let's talk about this, or a fast,
People don't ask the right questions.
Right, they went
They
to the answer.
They ask, a lot of people ask questions, but they're just vague, general questions but I noticed that a lot of people don't have control of their feelings and their emotions, and when they get nervous and I just need a protein. I'm nervous in here. I don't know what to do. It's like people come into the gym. So many toys.
It's all shiny. It's intimidating, and
you can get lost.
You can. It's overwhelming between when you look at the one aspect of the amount of equipment and things. Like you walk in and I see the pre-course and I see the treadmills. Okay, I know what you're supposed to do on those. I get it. And the machines, kind of straightforward.
Yep.
You move over to the weights, maybe a little bit. And what are these things over here? It looks like a ball with a hook on it.
Yep.
A kettle, what? And then it
People
gets
get lost about all the stuff over there, like the Swiss balls, Bosu balls, kettlebells, med balls. People are completely lost what to do with that stuff.
I'm gonna look like a fool doing that kind
And
of
plus
stuff.
it's
That's what it
we're
is
like-
right there. I'm gonna look bad. Forgive me. Someone just said it to me the other day. Tryon, actually, guy who's got my first name as his last name.
Yeah.
Too funny. But he came in. He's like, I'm not gonna hop on the bench. He's like, because I might look like a fool. He's like, you got other guys in here who are putting up some serious weight. He's like, if I got on the bench and I only had the bar, he's like, I don't want to look stupid, when I'm coming
can't do
around
that.
people who actually know what they're doing. And the same thing. That's why. So for a while, I would stand on the Swiss balls, and we do other tricks, and we do flags and other things like that. But I stopped doing that so much because you got to be careful what tricks you show the kids. And when I say kids, that means everybody. I'm a kid. I'm chasing the 12-year-olds. I'm trying to compete with the 12-year-olds. That's the only competition I've got. I mean, we're looking at like Yuki, 70 years old, ice climbing in the French Alps. I mean, he's a kid.
He's one of our members here.
Yeah,
That's
fantastic. But he's not coming in here to show off. He came in here with a purpose, with the intention of, today I need to do some cardio. I know that I've been slacking a little bit. I want to get my endurance up a little bit better, so I'm gonna dabble in the cardio today. But most people don't understand. It's like you can break things up into different categories. Okay, so today I want to do some cardio. I want to do the endurance factor. Well, there's a whole variety of things you can do in that category. It's not just, I got to run on the treadmill. That's so boring.
Well, this is
It's so
where,
bland.
it's so key that even though we own it now, the gym, but so key that we are here all the time, at least for now, and work here, and the trainers here, because we could see who's kind of lost. Because there's a lot of, we don't have many, like, elite, like, athletic people here. It's mostly, like, the general average person. So we could tell who's confused on what to do, and that's when we'll approach them and give them, like, you know, do you want to, like, I won't even, there's some people who I know don't want to pay for training, but they're just confused on how to use this stuff, so I'll just give them a free hour of just, let me show you, like, some moves with the kettlebells, with the med balls, just so they're, like, more comfortable when they go out on the floor, because it is an open space, and it can be a little intimidating if you don't know, like, what you're doing, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
You just have to read your customers and clients.
It's so true, because, like, you could be a complete newbie, and everybody was. Everybody was. And just
Exactly.
walk in and sit down on a machine and know that I can just, lift my arms like this, and the machine's making me do it that way, so I can't do it wrong.
Yeah, and a lot of people go right to the machines, especially, like, newbie people, because it's pretty much, it's one move,
That's
like,
the main
and they're not
question.
going to
Can
look
you give
dumb.
me a machine workout, a machine circuit?
Yeah, which one should I do?
Yep. None.
Well, we find,
Yeah,
like,
I
most
mean-
people want to do that stuff.
Right.
They just are nervous.
It is
yeah.
scary. It's scary. I got to tell you, kettlebells, all of that stuff where you're swinging and everything, it's scary because
Yeah.
you're like, going, am I supposed to do it this way or that way? And then, candidly, if they don't know it, the injury factor, if you do it wrong,
Yep.
You can
Yeah,
throw
and then
something
there's
out
that,
kind of
yeah.
quickly that way.
Correct. Yep. No, everyone's afraid to fail, it's like you got to make good judgments, but good judgments come from experience, and experience comes from making bad judgments. And if you're not failing on the regular, dude, you got to fail every day, and you got to fail as fast as possible.
Yeah.
You got to fail as fast as possible. I want to know. I want to make the mistake right now because I can get over it. Okay, I'm going to squat. Maybe I fall on my back. I lifted my toes up too much, or I found out my Achilles were too tight and this and that. Oh, well, God, I look stupid in front of everybody. At least I laughed because, well, maybe when's the last time you laughed? Maybe you needed to fall on your ass. That's the problem. Everyone forgets. Failure is data. And your muscles need new data every single day. And people don't understand. It's like, dude, fall on your ass. Laugh, joke, play. When we're on the Swiss balls, it was like, I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall. No. You're going to fall. You're going to bust your ass. Everybody does.
Absolutely.
But the minute that you bust your ass, all of a sudden that burden's off your shoulders. That standard of, I got to be perfect. I got to look good. Listen, you're not going to look perfect. The more you watch yourself in the mirror, the dumber you honestly look. To a certain degree, obviously, I'm not, judging anybody's physique or aesthetic or anything like that. But I see people watch themselves in the mirror and their form breaks down. And it's like, if you watch that person in the mirror and they're messing up, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So it's like, listen, take the time, sit here, don't look in the mirrors, just take your time, enjoy yourself, have fun. Fun. First three letters in functional. If you're not having fun, you are literally wasting your time. You gotta have fun. You cannot dislike what you're doing and take it too seriously.
And in the world of fitness and exercise, there's so much variety. Like you're saying, that if you're doing something and you just dread it, like the there's probably people listening to this and go, treadmill's awesome, I love it. Awesome, good. But there's also people like, I hate tread.
Yep.
I hate the treadmill. I need endurance. But to your point, there's some other things we could
There's
do.
people that tell us
we
they
could
hate
try
water. I hate water. I can't stand the taste of water.
Well, I used to know. I had to really learn to, like, once I learned the benefits, all the benefits of water, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm going to drink my water now. But the taste is like,
There's two main questions I like to ask everybody, aside from how much water you drink a day, but what are the three most important things in life? And I tell people, tell me the first three things that pop in mind. My career, my family, my security, my kids, blah, 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 my family, blah, blah, blah. I say, none of those things matter. What do you mean? You're just young. Blah, blah. No, listen. Air, water, food. Without air, you got 3 minutes, 4 minutes, if you're good.
Yeah.
Without water, maybe you got a week, if you're good. Without food, you got 30 days, if you are really good.
30 days.
Yeah, crazy, right? But even then, people have no idea. They don't even think of it that way. They're so lost in whatever it is that they're lost in that they're not thinking. They're neglecting the basics. Air, water, and food. Extremely important. It's crazy because we see it every single day over and over and over. People neglecting the basics and they can't understand why they're not making progress 6 months down the road. I've been on this program for 6 months. Well, there's your first mistake. You've been on the same program. You're insane. You've been doing the same thing for 6 months straight.
Yep.
One, if anything, you actually put on a little fat because there's eustress and there's distress, and you're just distressing your body tremendously. It's useful stress or distressing. And if you're doing the same things over and over and your body is starting to reject you because of it, you're going to start packing on fat. And you say, well, I'm seeing that my I'm getting bigger, I'm packing on fat in all these places, but I've been working out, and that's what deters so many people. Because they come to the gym and they actually do put in the work. You know, I give everybody the credit for the fact that you showed up. That was the first battle, getting through the door. Now the next battle begins. And everybody forgets it's a war in that sense. Quotations there, but it's multiple battles. And the word battles, whatever you could call it, whatever you want, but first you got to get through the door. Yeah. Then you got to figure out what you're going to do. And then you got to do it well. So there's multiple factors there. And great, God bless people that come in and they put in their work, but it's, why are you putting in the work? Because you're expelling all this energy. Maybe instead of coming to the gym and just running around, maybe you should have stayed home and just worked on your breathing exercises and worked in.
Yeah, I think the overworking out, overtraining, coming to the gym every single day, as opposed to, the body needs to rest. Young bodies, old bodies, males, female, you got to have that rest. And I don't mean sleep. It's that recovery time.
Correct.
And another thing,
it's working in.
People need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable when they're working out, such as like pushing themselves. I always tell people, embrace the burn you start feeling, like push through it, try to go an extra few reps or an extra few seconds if you're doing it for time, because that's where your progress will come in. And that's where also being a personal trainer comes in handy for a lot of people, because a lot of my clients say they love it because like I'm there, like they wouldn't do this if I wasn't there, like pushing them, telling them how many reps to do, and telling them keep going. So some people really need that push until they can have the self-discipline to do it on their own.
And that's one of the things our friend Scott Reed was talking about, that discipline is the cornerstone to it.
Yeah.
And I was saying how, it takes a village, and if you can surround yourselves with like-minded people, it helps. But at the core of it, you need to win that first battle and have the discipline to come in.
And that's what we tell people. You can't only think you're going to make changes. Like, your body will start changing, even if we have like 2 sessions a week, but really that's only 2 hours a week when you think about it. We tell people you have to do something every day, movement-wise. Like, you could do a home workout, you could do step-ups off a chair, leg raises, all this stuff at home. You could practice your push-ups. Like, we have a lot of, especially the female clients, their push-ups, the tricep push-ups with the elbow in, is like one that's, it's difficult to get, but it's something you have to really work at every day. That's how I got it. I couldn't do it. It was like 2 years ago I couldn't do one, and then I just worked at it every day, and the progressions up to it.
Just a little bit.
And then you'll get it. Yeah.
And
that's where the discipline comes in. Yeah.
Jocko Willink.
Yes.
Jocko podcast.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
He's
goodness.
pretty damn cool.
Discipline equals freedom.
Yeah, he
Yes,
loves
he
that.
does. That's a good one.
And it's one of those things that you can't buy discipline. You can't go to a personal trainer and expect, I'm going to trade my dollars and you're gonna make me in shape. It doesn't work that way. I could break you in the first session, but where would that get us?
Right.
Well,
what is the point of that?
That's the thing. You're not going to spend 24 hours a day with a person for the rest of their life.
Correct.
Exactly.
You can show them like you were talking about. It's like you're teaching them how to fish as opposed to keep giving them a fish every time. You got to learn the concepts and the approaches so that you can apply it when you leave this room.
Yes.
Because as much as I would love to stay here forever, but I can't stay in this room forever. I got to go and then do it at home.
Yeah.
It's a chronic issue. A lot of people don't understand what that means too. I'm telling me, like, listen, if you fell on your shoulder and your shoulder's causing problems, like you were talking about your shoulder, okay, well, it's not a chronic issue. You know what you did to it.
Right.
But if all of a sudden 6 months you're like, man, I've been having this problem, well, now we have an issue. Your habits got you there. Your habits will undo it. However, if you don't have the discipline to instill new habits, you're going to get the same results. It's insanity. It's insanity. But we live in this backwards society of the secrets. I'm going to wish and hope and pray and believe I'm going to get this body and,
Well, it is what the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and
hamster wheel,
hoping for a different result.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But it's what we do with every day, and we try to give everybody all the tools, all the simplest tools that got us where we are. we could show everybody pictures. We could tell everybody where we're at. I mean, regardless, we still had to put in the work. We still had to put in the time. We still had to think about it. You got to picture it in your mind before you can see it. You got to picture it in your mind before you can speak it into existence. And then you got to picture it before you can write it down and see it in reality and then do something about it. Yep. But everybody has a hard time have a hard time controlling their thoughts. And that's the most dangerous factors. People all the time, I'm fat. No, you're not. You're not fat. You have fingernails. Are you a fingernail? No. Therefore, you're not fat. Yeah, sure, you have fat on you, but that's fuel. Mm-hmm. You're coated in fuel, man. It's like, dude, you just got to learn how to turn the right gears so that you start burning that fuel. It's the craziest thing in the world. I can't eat fats, and then you can't eat the wrong fats.
I can't.
Exactly. Choose your words.
And not being hung up on weighing themselves is a huge
That's
thing.
a tough one right there, right? Because it's that scale, it's that number, it's that black and white. Mm-hmm. I weigh 190 pounds. I want to weigh 180 pounds. And it's like, no, I don't want. Maybe I do. I don't know. It's how do I look? Mm-hmm. How do I perform?
Yep.
Abs
Have
are
you
awesome.
lost inches? And then go by your inches you've lost.
Right.
Not
Is it
the number?
Is it shred? Is it not? Is it
Exactly.
tight? Are the jeans fitting nicely?
Exactly.
Do I have to get the stretchy Thanksgiving sweatpants out?
Having a blatantly visible, nice sculpted pair of abs does not mean that you are healthy, and it does not mean that you're in good condition either. There's a big difference between being in shape and being conditioned, and a lot of people make the incorrect distinction there. Sure, you can look good. I know a lot of people that look good, but they can't do anything. I was there. I could. I was huge. I was jacked. I looked up, but I just couldn't do the things that I can do now without the same types of training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, it's one of those things. It's where are you going in your life? Where are your goals? And do you even have goals in the first place?
And
do you have goals and dreams?
Yeah. If you get to a low enough body fat, your abs are just going to show, but your energy levels are going to be, if you're obviously in too big of a deficit with your calories. So it's like,
and
it's
I gotta
just
bring
not...
this up too. And that leads me right into the veganism. And it's one of those things, it's a touchy one.
You gotta watch out. You gotta watch out. They'll come after you.
That's right, they will. Yeah, the adrenaline's fine. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you're on a specific diet or whatever you're on, whatever lifestyle works for you at this point in time, God bless you. Phenomenal. Run with it. But if it causes you to talk shit about me for doing something,
that's a big difference right there.
How accurate could it be if it's causing you to forget that love kind of makes the world go round?
Yeah,
regardless of all the negative things, love does make the world go round. And if all you're doing is sitting here just bashing all these other things that are going on, an alcoholic doesn't realize he's an alcoholic. But he's talking smack about everybody else, and then, but what are you doing? Pull the speck out of your eye.
It's just so dumb to me. Like, people are, like, they're literally, what's the word when people are, like in Instagram bios, people will literally write vegan. Like, that's you? Like,
right, that describes a vegan warrior.
Yep.
Right, like, it's so dumb. Like, are you a diet? Like, is that how you're going to describe yourself to people?
By labeling yourself,
you
isolate
labeling
and separate
yourself.
yourself from the rest of us. And that's generally, man, we're just delving into so many topics here. That's an ist. That's one of those. That's an ist. The minute that's a racist, a whatever, that you're an ist, you're becoming you're a labelist. Mm-hmm. The minute that you label yourself as something is the minute you just separated us and drew a line in the sand.
I think it's when you get to that point about going, if I am a vegan and that's what I do and choose and that's my path, that is cool.
Great.
If I am trying to say, hey, did you know, and help in a helpful and coming from a good place, trying to educate. Yeah. And not only coming from a good place, but actually doing it in an appropriate manner where I'm not infringing or offending, cool. But once I cross that line into you're wrong because you're not doing it my way, whether it's vegan, whether it's religion, whether it's whatever, politics or whatever, it gets really dicey. Yep. And it's just like, it's not dicey, it's bullshit is what
There's
it is.
There's tremendous benefits to going vegan for a time. And, I do love the Paul Chek, the 4-day rotation diet. Every 4 days, switch it up. Because maybe you need to purge those toxins from what you're eating before, because there's toxins in everything. There's no purity. I love the organic label because they're going above and beyond. At the end of the day, who really knows what is?
The government still controls the organic label. Correct. So do you trust the government?
Correct.
No, you don't. But you're stepping in the right direction.
So but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you guys are eating GMOs, you guys are a piece of shit. And it's, no, dude, no.
It's like,
dude, there's benefits to everything in moderation. In moderation. Yeah. We have a lot of friends that are vegan and whatnot, or vegetarian, or whatever you want to be. I'm not, dude. I ain't hating on you. If it's working for you,
that's all
who
good.
am I to say that it's not working for you?
And vegan and a vegetarian does not mean you're going to be all of a sudden this lean person, because there's a lot of overweight vegans and vegetarians out there.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm eating nothing but gummy bears and diet root beer.
Right.
That's vegan.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
And the
it's
same
just...
thing with organic, you know. Arsenic is organic.
And vegetarians
Mercury's
eating
organic.
way too much pasta.
My tattooist told me a story about a friend of his, and how she would always just walk around with a bag of pretzels and gummy bears and soda.
Yeah, like,
It's
what?
That's crazy.
Right. The one thing that I do give to, like, I was vegetarian for a few years, and then I folded in fish and came back fully. But the one thing that did benefit from that was I was severely depleted from vegetables prior to
a lot
it.
of people are.
And I think that's the big thing is we don't eat enough of vegetables.
Especially around here, because they're not harvested that much around here. And I lived in South Florida for a year, and the amount of variety of vegetables and fruits that I've never even seen before that I had down the street from me was like amazing.
That's the coolest
And
thing.
I was like, oh, when I had to come back. But
You don't even need to know too much about it. You just need to know you want to paint a rainbow on your plate of vegetables. Like literally, I was at the store today and I was like getting my normal things and everything, and I was like, I need a few different colors to add in. Like I eat a lot of spinach now.
Yeah.
Because I did the same thing with broccoli. Same exact thing happened to me.
Oh,
so I went to spinach. It's a little easier on my digestion.
Excellent.
And I was like, I need some color in there too, because spinach is fine and all, but I was getting all kinds of different colored peppers and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like you
love
said,
peppers.
ebb and flow.
Yeah.
You know, there's times where I just wrapped up a 6-week hardcore deadlift phase. Hardcore deadlifting. I haven't deadlifted. I deadlifted once in the last week. After going 6 weeks, almost every single day. Now I'm onto something else. Now I might be going back to the gymnast rings. I might be going back to my speed and agility work. I might be going back to the plyometrics with the box jumps. It's ebb and flow. I'm going to take a little bit from here, a little bit from there. I'm giving and taking.
Yeah.
But if you don't give and all you do is take, you end up starting to draw lines, and you don't have to defend anything until you draw a line in the sand.
That's
you know?
true.
And
Oh, that's
more
good.
often
I like
than
that.
not, nowadays,
I like that.
where everybody's so defensive. Everybody's so defensive. Yeah, defense wins championships. Well, I used to be a Colts fan, and they proved that defense.
You're not anymore?
I don't really follow.
Oh,
I
you
just
used to
follow
always
sports. I
talk
just want to
about-
watch a good game now, because it made me biased towards other people.
Yeah.
You know, I drew a line and said, "Oh, don't you dare talk about my team like that." And it's like, dude, okay, but
I always
silly,
thought that
but-
was... It could be fun and games.
But-
I always thought it was so dumb when people...
And that's what it turns
get
into,
so
yeah.
emotionally involved with their
Where they
sports
say
team.
we got a good team this
Right,
year. Do we?
like-
Yeah.
Do we?
They don't even know you.
We won the championship.
You did? Did
How
you get a ring?
participate?
Where's your ring? Where's your
Yeah.
trophy?
Right.
I knocked back a case of Bud Light during that game, and I'm sure that's what led
I
to.
sat in the same lucky chair for
Yep.
every game. That's why I went. No,
Oh,
I
too
get
funny.
that.
Too funny. No, but I mean, you got to have fun. You got to enjoy what you're doing, and you got to have as much variety as possible. You know, like you're saying, paint
I
the
agree.
rainbow.
I agree.
There's spectrums. You cannot have the day without the night. You can't have good, in quotations, you can't have good without bad, blah, blah, blah. Just where on the spectrum works for you right now. Phenomenal book. Be Here Now, Be Here.
That's the title?
That's the title of the book. Phenomenal book. It's what do I need to do right now to get me to the next minute? It's not, instead of, oh, well, later on down the road, or, you know, the past. A lot of people living in the past, and it's not. It's, no, what do I need to do today to help me? Because everything you do today is for tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's the problem. Is everybody's living for, oh, well, you know, I want it right now. I want everything right now. I want microwave food. I want to win the lottery and get rich now today. Well, you know what? There's a whole gray area there. You gotta. It's on the spectrum, and you go back and forth. It's like the little radio dial. It's going back and forth. You know what? But the sound is crystal clear. But it's going back and forth. So, you know, we just try to share with people as much variety and as much well-rounded thinking as we possibly can by just inserting things from all over the place. You know, it's you can find shitty things in everything. If you look at something the right way with the right color glasses, you can think, "Oh, this is terrible." But if you just take those glasses off and say, what do I have to learn? Because there's something for each of us to learn in every single instance. So, what am I going to learn today? I don't necessarily know what the journey is going to be, but as long as I set the destination and the intention, I'll get there. I just want to move well. I don't know what exercise is going to take for me to get there, but all I know is I want to move better. Set the goal, and you'll find your way there. And it might take a week, might take a month, might take 10 years. You may never get there. But along the way, you're going to find out a lot of things about yourself that you just didn't know. If you are willing to honestly take a step outside yourself and say, okay, why do I feel the need to separate myself? Why do I feel the need to look at these people the way I do and try to say, oh, well, you guys are doing this, and what am I doing? The minute that I say you're wrong, well, like I was telling her, she didn't ever heard this before. You point one finger at someone else, you point three back at yourself. Simple and plain, you know. So we're just trying to have fun and trying to teach people. Just be a kid, just laugh. You know, you're only as old as the last time you changed your mind.
And a lot of our clients and members, they like, well, mainly our clients who we work with one-on-one or in the classes, say they like our training style so much because it is fun and it's not like they're working out, because we're doing like unconventional things and it's not the basic things you would think of in PT. So they like it and they enjoy it, and they literally, that's why they keep coming back.
Well, that's why I reached out to you, and you can. I mean, I think if you can learn anything by the past hour and 20 minutes of our conversation here, you've hopefully illustrated that this isn't like the normal type of a gym where you're coming in, you're getting a whole bunch of stuff. This has truly been an awesome conversation.
Had a blast.
This is
Yeah, it
great.
was cool.
Wait, before we wrap up, I want to give you both some time to plug your social media. Let's hit the location, telephone numbers, everything and anything about Body Fit Warehouse. So fire away. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, my Instagram is Anna, ANNA, Elisa, ELYSA 4. So that's the Instagram.
Yep.
And then yeah, like us on follow our Body Fit Warehouse on Facebook. We're on there, and then we have an Instagram for the Body Fit Warehouse, which is just
It's body_fit
Yeah.
warehouse.
So-
You just punch in Body Fit Warehouse, you'll find that.
it will be up there.
Cool.
Yeah, you can find me at stryon, STRYON. A lot of people say Steve Trin, Steve Tron, Tyrone, Steve Tryon. Same thing at the Body Fit Warehouse for Facebook and Instagram. We're located right in Southwick, right on 202, right on College Highway, 320 College Highway. Phone number to the gym is 413-998-3364. And to anybody that listens to this, just drop in sometime. You know, we just want to meet you, even if you don't come in to work out. We're just looking to have fun. We're just looking for fresh faces because we want to learn something from you. We found that, you know, as much of our personal practice as we could develop on our own, you can't really take your learning game to the next level until you start to teach. And the best teachers are always students. So every day we're studying, every day we're learning, and we're just trying to get as much data as possible. And Rossi, we really enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah,
man.
thank you so
when
much.
you reached out to me the other day, dude, I was stoked. She'll tell you, I couldn't stop
He
talking
was.
about it. I was super excited. Especially to find out you live right down the road,
I know.
too.
We were
It's
like,
coincidence, man. It's
wow.
karma. It's
Yep.
karma.
I learned once I became a detective, there is no such thing as coincidence. So this is right on point. This is awesome. Your questions are phenomenal, and the way that you keep the conversation flowing is just on point.
I was gonna say you do a great job.
Thank
with
you.
that.
It's fun. This is fun for me. I love to come out and learn and talk with people, and you know, this has been a great one. Thank you.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Thank you.